Welcome back to the Institute for Business Growth and the Sales Accelerator Workshop. Today we're going to talk about Module 04, Lesson 2, Selling by Style. This module is a little bit different because I moved the action steps from Module 0401 to this Module 0402 because my goal is to keep each one of these videos less than 15 minutes, and with the action step we were a little over that. So what I'd like you to do is answer the following questions. Treat these as your action step. If you're dealing with customers who are drivers, I'd like you to think about how you're going to answer the following questions and incorporate those into your sales presentation. How will your product or service save them time or money? What questions would you ask to explore their desired results and timelines? How will you present your product or service from a cost-benefit perspective? And how will you provide reminders of your track record? So one of the ways I like to start out a call with just about everybody, but specifically for our drivers, is what would you like to get out of today's meeting, or how are you hoping I could help you? Because I'll get right to the point and they'll tell you exactly what they would like to get out of the meeting. That question is powerful because it tells you up front what you need to do for that meeting to be successful for them. Now, you might have to expand the agenda a little bit and say, thank you, I'd like to get this out of it as well, because we clearly got to make sure that you get what you want out of the meeting. But they will tell you. So for our conscientious, our analytics, our thinkers, answer the following questions. How will your product or service help them in reducing or eliminating risk? Remember, their primary need is to be right. What questions will you ask to explore their knowledge and their objectives? Because they're meeting with you for a reason. They're very clear about what they want to get out of the meeting. You need to invite them into the discussion to make sure that they feel heard. What documentation can you provide that shows a logical option with lots of documentation, including pros and cons? I can assure you they will read it, and if you leave out the cons, like many sales reps like to do, assuming people won't read it, they will read it and they will assume that you're not telling them the truth. So if there's something not in your document, make sure you tell them it's not there. And then what written guarantees and proof can you provide? For our studies, remember, our studies' primary need is harmony, safety, security, and stability. So when you're dealing with them, what kind of assurances can you provide? How can you develop trust and credibility before looking to build your business? What questions would you ask to explore their current practices and relationship needs? One powerful question is, who's all involved and what is the impact this problem is having on everyone? And then a follow-up question is, what happens to everybody if this problem isn't resolved? How can you provide guidance, direction, and personal assurances? And in what ways can you provide consistent, predictable, and personal attention? For our influencers, our I customers, answer the following questions. What documents can you provide to remind them of agreements? Remember, they don't do details well. It's not that they can't, they just don't. What questions can you ask to explore their dreams and motivations because they're big picture thinkers? How are you going to make them look good in the eyes of others, particularly their boss? That's very important to them. And how would you summarize all the details? Because remember, if there's detail work that needs to be done, you do it. And in what ways can you save them complications and make their life simple? So finish those off. Think about those questions. Put together scripts that you can use, documentation. So when you're sitting in front of those behavior styles, you're really confident, you're really comfortable, you know exactly what you're doing. That'll come across loud and clear. In the next module, we're going to talk about how decisions are made.